So now we're back, and I think one of the first that we have a live session. This is something we haven't had in a while. We're keeping a distance, but we all have been tested as well today, so we're all fine on that. So I'm very happy to have Daniel here today. He's actually, as I said, from very close from here, so that's why he came by. He's a true expert when it comes to startups and linking startups with corporates, or as we call in Germany, the Mittelstand, the famous Mittelstand that we have here, in particular in Baden-Württemberg. We have all these hidden champions, and actually where we are right now in the southwest of Baden-Württemberg, we have a lot of those hidden champions. And the funny thing is, all these hidden champions, they were all once hardware startups. Most of them are in the hardware field, right? So they were hardware startups. So in a sense, we're just pushing and trying to push even further German industry to still create more and more of these hidden champions that we already have here. We have known each other for, I think we've met 6 years ago. You were actually initiator of the idea of finding strong investors here in the region to invest in startups, especially in the countryside. We have all these networks in the cities, but here in the countryside. And by now, as we call each other, the Startup Angels, we are more than 40 members here, the Startup Angels, and we have done numerous investments in startups here as well as abroad. Yeah. But what makes Daniel a real celebrity in this region here is he's running the so-called Technologiewerkstatt. The Technologiewerkstatt is an accelerator and a co-working place for startups, and is based here very close by. And this is a very big success. The city built it up in Albstadt about 7 years ago. But since it's really been driven by and run by Daniel, due to his dedication and inspiration and way to dealing with startups, it has become a real success. And many of startups have graduated already from the Technologiewerkstatt, and it's a real good sample how startups can also really been fostered and grown here in the region. Yeah. You, as a former consultant, you also believe in methodology. So you have done recently a course as a trainer in the Orange Hill process. Yeah. And besides dealing with startups, Daniel loves running up and down the mountains, yeah, with his wife and dog, and very recently also with your baby boy in the backpack. So Daniel, welcome here on stage that you're here today.
Yeah, well, first of all, welcome to all attendees. It's a pleasure having you here, being part of this amazing Launchpad event. I'm really, really happy to be here to share some ideas with you. And first of all, personal meeting. I think we are so happy to be able to do it this way. Well,
perfect. Daniel, the first question, just tell us a little bit about the Technologiewerkstatt, what you're doing there, and just a little bit of background information.
Okay, just to give you a short overview to all attendees. In the history, in the 1980s, 1990s, in this region, we had a very strong focus on textile industry. So we had a lot of worldwide world champions here. And then the globalization hit us, and we had to think or to rethink our economical structure. Yeah. And with the Technologiewerkstatt, the idea was to build first a place and in the end a platform where creation takes place, so where startups are accelerated, yeah, where companies, where corporates get ideas to, or innovation is enabled, where startup and venture capital is enabled, and of course, maybe it's something unique. We have a lot of school children, yeah, joining us every year, learning new things, because these are the employees of the future and also the next founder generation. So our goal is to impact, yeah, to create a successful innovation project, and in the end, to create a future-oriented economy right here on the spot.
Actually, the topic you mentioned was the schools. You're doing a really great job with the 3D printing.
Yeah.
And as Daniel mentioned to me, a lot of kids come there and have no clue about maths, don't care about maths, but once they sit there and have to do a product, they start measuring, they understand why this is a radius and everything, and they get excited because they use practically what they have to do with the 3D printer. So I think it's a really, really great concept involving students so early on.
Yeah, the idea is the school is built up, you have to learn math and physics and all the stuff to build something in the end. But we say, okay, let's create an idea, build your product, and then you need math and all the physics. So we just change it around, and then you get such a lot of motivation and young children. And in the end, I was so happy because I have a very new startup. Yeah, I introduced the team, and then one team member said, well, Daniel, I know you because I run as a school child. I run this project. Yeah. So we are in the next step. We have new founders here, and it's so amazing because you have we have a long-term focus. We have a great vision, and step by step we get one milestone after another, and it's such a pleasure having new startups, new ideas. It's really amazing.
Great, because this is the new engineers and the tech guys that we need for the future.
Yeah.
So if you're fostering them, that's really, very good. Let's talk about startups. You deal with a lot of startups, you see a lot of startups, and of course in our region there's a lot of hardware startups as well. What is your advice in developing products? What are the stumbling blocks that you sometimes they encounter and you help them to solve them?
Good. First of all, I have to say every startup is unique, of course, and stumbling blocks are all over the place. Yeah. So I thought about maybe give you some free advice. Yeah, free things I would highlight, very special. Okay. First of all, I would say think business because a product is not enough. Yeah, I see a lot of startup teams. They have great concepts. They have maybe a prototype and so on, but they miss a very strong business idea. Yeah, and that's the thing. With a hardware startup, especially in our region, you have so many opportunities. Why? Your possible customers are here. Yeah, we have so many world champion B2B corporates, and they are also on the search. What are data-driven services which I can suit for my current business cases, or how can I use new technologies within my area? So in this area, I would say B2B startups have so great ideas, great possibilities if they have a strong business in focus and not just a product, first of all. Second thing, a lot of startups have a focus problem. Yeah, they see, okay, I need a whole functioning product before I can start, and that's wrong because in the startup, in the software startup, we know something like Scrum and Agile methods. Yeah, in the end, you have to have a process, an approach which enables your startup organization to learn quickly. Yeah, I think there's a reason we've heard it on the speaker before, and maybe on some other cases on this event right now. But from my work, I use a business design context. Yeah, or you can use Lean Startup or whatever. They have many similarities, but you have to have a great vision, and then you have to enable your organization to learn on the way. And last but not least, I would really encourage everybody, every hardware startup, to look for a strong enabler network. Why? Yeah, a lot of startups look for money. Yeah, maybe you say, okay, I search for smart money. But in the end, if you collaborate with corporations, yeah, the collaboration in the beginning can be a mentor for you. Yeah, maybe can you do a pilot project with them, then they become a customer. And in the end, maybe they become an investor. And we have our keynote speaker of today. Yeah, if you look to Volocopter, they announced that they not only work together with Honeywell, but Honeywell also invested in Volocopter. And that's really amazing because I think that's the startup, the hardware startup has a different possibility than not only a software startup. And thanks God, the time is over for just another app, yeah, software startups. So hardware startups, I think they have great possibilities.
Exactly. Once you develop the product, I mean, it's long and tedious in the beginning, but they build a barrier of entries, right? So the more they develop, the higher the barrier of entry becomes. So it's building something in the future. One more question, just because we have to keep the time here. Julia's pushing me again here on the program. You see a lot of corporate companies as well, because you deal with them a lot, and you come and bring them together with startups. From the point of view of corporate, and we have also some attendees from corporate companies here, what is your recommendation? How to work with startup, when to get involved, when to push them, when to invest into them, when even to take them over, whatever criteria they are. What is your advice for them? Yeah,
first of all, startup is modern. Everybody talks about startup, yeah. But for corporates, I would say you have to define, it's a different language, and the work is different. So a lot of big companies try startup innovation programs on their own, yeah. And small companies say, okay, that's maybe a possibility with a startup. I don't know how to work with them. I would highlight one event or one special project we run there. That's the Tech Startup School. Yeah, what's special there? We have a lot of very successful corporates around, but they all are too small, yeah, to run their own innovation or startup program. But on the other thing, they miss the methodology, the approach. And so we said, okay, let's combine it in an innovation, so-called innovation corporation, and we share it. So the idea comes from the corporate, yeah. The team comes from students, from young professionals around, then something new creates. So it's a collaboration. First is collaboration, it's cost sharing. Yeah, you hire you create a better impact. And in the end, you have the first customer, which is the corporation, which gives the idea. And that's a very interesting approach to run even in maybe not big cities, such so innovation programs.
Perfect. Daniel, thank you very much. Looking at the time, we have to finish now. So thank you very much that you were here. You took the time to come here. We have the beer for peers later on. We can do it also live here. We have a few beers here in the fridge.
Okay.
So please stay here, and we'd love to have you later. And then we can join one of the tables. And if you need some more information from Daniel directly, you can log in and talk directly with Daniel.
Thanks for the invitation. Yeah.
Thank you for coming here.
Thanks.
See you soon. Huh? So thank you very much. So we're going on to our next slot. The next slot will be Christoph Mikoda. Now we're going to Poland. So we came from Berlin to Baden-Baden. I think Stefan is in Baden-Baden. Then back to Berlin, then California. Now live directly in Balingen. And now we're going to Poland, to Krakow, to Christoph Mikoda. He's the CEO of SquadTech, and he will talk about Scrum methodologies and how they really help to accelerate developing hardware products. See you then.